Kyle, hey, congratulations with I'm Totally Fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, so tell me how you initially got involved on this project in the first place.
Yeah, I got involved right after Brandon Dermer, the director, told me the premise. He told me the premise of this idea of this movie, and it was so intriguing to me. And I'm interested in producing other directors, not just directing everything myself. And so I ran with it. It was honestly, the premise was something that I had to do. So I jumped on right after that and vowed to make the movie. I said to Dermer, I'm going to produce your first movie, and that's what's going to happen. And we're going to do it in December. And it's going to be during the craziest time that we've ever existed. And we're going to go in and make an authentic film. And, I think, yeah, so from ground one, really.
Well, now for your for yourself, you don't do a lot of indie projects. So why would you want to take a chance on something like this?
It's a feeling. I mean, the last time I was doing like real independent projects was around Workaholics, like around the early days of Workaholics, when it was just doing stuff that we believed in and that we really were like, I care enough about this to go make this happen. And that's what I felt on this project. I felt that I cared enough to do whatever it took to make this project be a reality. Because for whatever reason, I really believed it was a story that needs to be told. I believe that. I believe that this can resonate with people, and more importantly, it's an expression of my own self, so yeah, a lot.
Now you started this in December, was it 2020, which is quite a challenge itself. So how did you guys want to approach a project like this, especially with COVID around?
Well, I think there was a certain challenge at that point where it was, can you make it happen? And so the way that we approached it was just having a very small crew. First of all, identifying the limitations. And thankfully, Brandon's premise and Alisha, Ketry, and their story, we limited it to the house. We limited it. It didn't need to go anywhere. It was more conceptual and heady. So it became about, exploring the concept and exploring the emotions and really nailing these two arcs down, And so we bubbled up. We wrote to those limitations. We bubbled up. We had about 20 people in a few houses out in Temecula. Everybody had their own rooms, and we were all masked, and we were testing every other day, and it was pre-vaccine, and the stay-at-home orders were still coming into the cell phones out here in California. And so we were careful. We were really careful while making this film.
Was it a difficult process in attracting your cast into a film like this, or did you call in favors?
Well, yeah, it's absolutely favors. Absolutely. I mean, Jillian is one of my best friends, and we've known each other for 15 years now. So we talk all the time, and I know where she's at creatively. Like, I'm able to kind of have those conversations with her. And so before I asked her to do this, I knew that she was looking for something a little bit more dramatic and a little bit like more heavy that she could really sink her teeth into, because Jillian is kind of an all-in kind of a person, and she wanted to do this. So I knew that she may be attracted to this even before asking her. And so, yeah, favor for sure. It was more at the time, though, it was more like I just want to work with you. Like, you know, nobody's working right now. Let's go out and do this crazy thing. Let's make a movie in 10 days. And she was all about it.
That is pretty awesome. And one more thing, Kyle, because you know you're very well known for doing a lot of comedies, but after watching a film like this, where in its own way it's depressing and comedic at the same time, how did you find that balance and still make it funny?
I think there's a certain level of it in the scripting where you know that we have to keep the levity alive. Like, we don't really want to, we're already talking about something incredibly heavy, one of life's greatest hardships, loss of a loved one. And if we want to tackle that, then we have a I believe that it's a responsibility to balance it out with laughter, and balance it out with smiles, because when people think about grief and grieving, they do think about it as a tough emotion because it represents loss. But there's another part of that too, where you get to imagine the memories, you get to remember that person for everything they were, you know, and it wasn't always sad with that person. If you love that person, there were a lot of smiles. So the memories of the lost loved one also should include laughter, and it should include smiles, and it should include those wonderful times that you had the opportunity to, you know, to live with that person.
Well said. Well said. Well, Kyle, thank you very much for speaking to us and putting up with me in the middle of my trek. So hopefully we get to do this again, you know, either in person or maybe on my laptop.
Yeah, right. Anytime. Thank you very much. And I wish you
Hey,
safe travels.
thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.